Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is chapter 6 of The Power of Now, a guide to spiritual enlightenment. Continue on to chapter 6. This is going to talk about the inner body, being in your deepest self. Okay. You spoke earlier about the importance of having deep roots within or inhabiting the body. Can you explain what you meant by that? The body can become a point of access into a realm of being. Let's go into more deeply now. I am still not quite sure if I can fully understand what you mean by being. Water. What do you mean by that? I don't understand it. This is what a fish would say if a human, if it had a human mind. Please stop trying to understand being by that. I don't understand it. This is what. Please stop. You have already had significant glimpses of being, but the mind will always try to squeeze it into a little box and then putting it into a label on it. It cannot be done. It cannot become an object of knowledge. In being, subject and object merge into one. Being can be felt in ever present I am being that is present name and form. To feel in this, to know that you are abide in that. Deeply rooted state of is enlightenment. It's the truth Jesus says to make you free. Free from what? He said. Free from the illusion that there is nothing more than your physical body and your mind. Illusion of the self, as the Buddha call it, is the core error. Free from fear in its countless disguises as the inevitable consequence of that illusion. The fear is that your constant tormentor as long as it derived your sense of self only from this ephemeral and vulnerable form, and free from sin, which is a suffering you consciously inflict on yourself and others as long as this illusory sense of self governs what you think, says, and do. Look beyond the words. I don't like the word sin. It implies that I am being judged and found guilty. That is often centers more erroneous views and interpretations that have accumulated around words such as sin due to ignorance, misunderstanding, or desire to control, but they contain an essential core of truth.
If you are unable to look beyond such interpretations and so cannot recognize the reality to which the words point, then doesn't use it. Don't get stuck on the level of words. A word is no more than a means to an end. It's an abstraction, not unlike a signpost. It points beyond itself. The word honey, is it honey? You can study and talk about honey for as long as you like, but you won't really know it until you taste it. After you have tasted, the word becomes less important to you. You won't be attached to it anymore. Similarly, you can talk to or think about God continuously for the rest of your life, but does that mean you know or have in grips the reality to which of the words point? It really is no more than just an obsessive attachment to the signpost, a mental idol. The reverse also applies if, for whatever reasons, you disliked the word honey. That might prevent you from ever tasting it. If you had a strong aversion of the word God, which is the negative forms of attachments, you may be denying not just the word but also the reality to which it points. You will be cutting yourself off from the possibilities of experiencing the reality All this is, of course, intrinsically connected with being identified with your mind. So, if a word doesn't work for you anymore, then drop it and replace it with that does work. If you don't like the word sin, then call it unconsciousness or insanity. That may get you closer to the truth, the reality behind the word, than a long misused word like sin and leave little room for guilt. I don't like those words either. They imply that there is something wrong with me. I am being judged. Of course, is something wrong with you, and you are not being judged. I don't mean to offend you personally, but do you not belong to the human race that has killed over 100 million members of their own species in the 20th centuries alone? You mean guilt by association. It is not a question of guilt, but as long as you are run by the egoic mind, you are part of the collective insanity. Perhaps you haven't looked very deeply into the human's conditions and its states of dominance by the egoic mind. Open your eyes and see the fear, the despair, the greed, and the violence that are all precessive. See the heinous cruelties and suffering on an unimaginable scales of humans have inflicted and continue to inflict on each other's, as well as on others life forms on the planet. You don't need to condemn, just observe. That is sin. That is insanity. That is unconsciousness. All the above. Don't forget to observe your own mind. Seek out the roots of the insanities there. Finding your invisibles and indestructibles reality. You said that identification with outer physical forms is part of the illusions. So how can the body, the physical forms, bring you to realizations of being? The body that you can see and touch cannot take you into being, but the visuals and tangible body is only an outer shell, or rather the limited of distorted perceptions of the deeper reality in your natural states of connectedness of being. This deeper reality can be felt every moment of the visible's inner body. The animating presents with you. So, to inhabit the body is to feel the body forms within, to feel the life inside the body, and thereby come to know that you are beyond the outer form. But that is only the beginning of the inward journey that will take you ever more deeply into the realms of great stillness and peace, yet also of great power and vibrant light. At first, you may only get fleeting glimpses of it, but through them you will begin to realize that you are not just a meaningless fragment in the alien's universe, briefly suspended between birth and death, allowed a few short lives, pleasures, followed by pain and ultimate elimination. Underneath your outer forms, you are connected to with something so vast, so immeasurable and sacred that it cannot be conceived or spoken of, yet I am speaking of it now. I am speaking of it now, not to give you something to believe it in, but to show you how you can know it for yourself. You are cut off from being as long as your mind takes up your attention. When this happens, and it happens continuously, for most people, you are not You are not in your body. The mind absorbs all your consciousness and transforms it into the mind stuff. You cannot stop thinking. Compulsive thinking has become a collective disease. Your whole sense of you is then derived from mind activity. Your entities, as it is no longer rooted in being, becomes vulnerable, and every need is mental constructed, which creates fears as the predominant underlying emotion. The one thing that truly matters is then missing from your life awarenesses of your deeper self, your visibles and indestructible reality. To become conscious of being, you need to be reclaiming consciousness from the mind. This is one of the most essential tasks on your spiritual journey. It will free vast amount of the consciousness that previously had been trapped in a useless and compulsive thinking. A very effective way of doing this is simply to take the focus of your attentions away from thinking and direct it into the body, where being can be felt in the first instant as visible energy field that gives life to what you perceive in the physical body.
Okay, connecting with the inner body. Okay, please try it now. You may find it helpful to close your eyes for this practice later on when being in the body has become natural and easy. This will no longer be necessary. Direct your attention into the body. Feel it from within. It is alive. Is there life in your hands, arms, legs, and feet, in your abdomen, your chest? You could feel the subtle energy that pervades the entire body and gives vibrant life to every organ and every cell. Can you feel it simultaneously in all parts of your body and a single cell of the energy? Keep focusing on the feeling of the inner body for a few moments. Do not start to think about it. Feel it. The more attention you give it, the more clear and stronger this feeling will become the energy. It will feel as every cell in the body is becoming more alive, and if you have a strong visual sense, you may get an image of your body becoming more luminous. Although such an image can help you temporarily pay attention more of the feeling than any image that may arise. Any image, no matter how beautiful, powerful, it is already defined in form, so there is less scope in penetrating more deeply. The feeling of the inner body is formless, limitless, and unfathomable. You can always go in it more deeply. If you cannot feel it very much at the stage, pay attention to whatever you could feel. Perhaps there is much slight tingling in your hands or your feet. That's good enough for the moment. Just focus on the feeling. Your body is coming alive. Later we'll practice some more time. Please open your eyes. Now, and keep it some more attention in your inner energy field of your body. Even as you look around in the room, the inner body lies at the threshold between your form identity and your essence identity. Your true nature, never lose touch with it. Transformation through the body. Why have most religions condemned or denied the body? It seems that spiritual seekers have always regarded the body of hindrance or even as sinful. Why have few seekers become finders? On the level of the body, humans are very close to animals. All the basic bodily functions, pressure, pain, breathing, eating, drinking, defecating, sleeping, and even fine like mate and procreate, and even more, birth and death. We share with animals. As long time after the fall of the state of grace, if one is subject to illusion, humans suddenly woke and seen to be animal body. and they found this very disturbing. Don't fool yourself, you are more than an animal. This seemed to be the truth with staring them into the face. But it was too disturbing a truth to tolerate. Adam and Eve saw that they were naked and they were become afraid. Conscious denial of their animal nature set very quickly. The threat that they might be taken over powerful, its instinctual drives and revert back to the complete unconscious was indeed a very real one. Shame and taboos appeared round them, certain parts of the bodily functions, especially sexuality. The light of the consciousness was that they set strong enough to make friends of their animal nature, to allow it to be and be more enjoy aspects of themselves, let alone to go deeply into it to find divine hidden within, the reality within the illusion. So they did not had to do. They began to dissociate from their body, and now they saw themselves into having a body rather than just being it. When religions aroused, this dissociation became more and more pronounced as that you are not your body. Belief. Countless people at the East and the West throughout the ages have tried to find God, salvation, enlightenment through the denial of the body. This took the form of denial and sense of pleasure of sexuality, in particular fasting and other ascetic practices. They are inflicted pain of the body in an attempt to weaken, punish it, and become regarded as a sinful. In Christianity, this has been used to call mortification of the flesh, other than to escape from the body, entering trance states of seeking out state of the body experiences. Many still do, even Buddha said, have practiced denial through fasting and extreme forms of deception for 6 years, but he did not obtain enlightenment until after he didn't give up to this practice. The fact that the one known body become more enlightened through denying or fighting the body through out of the body experience, although such experience can be fascinating as well and can give you a glimpse of the state of liberation from material form into the end of that you will always have no return to the body, where the essential work of the transformation takes place. Transformation is through the body, not away from it. This is why no matter how you master has ever advocated fighting or leaving the body, although their mind-based followers often have. Of the ancient teachings concerning the body, the certain fragments survive as Jesus' statements of your whole body will be filled with the light, or they survive as misbeliefs such as Jesus relinquished his body but remained one with it and ascended into the heavens within. Almost no one on this day understood the fragments of hidden meaning of the certain myths, and that you are not your body belief has prevailed universally, leading to body denial attempts to escape from the body. Countless seekers thus have prevented from attaining spiritual realization for themselves and becoming finders.
Is it possible to recover the lost teachings on the significance of the body, or to reconstruct them from the existing fragment? There is no need for that. All spiritual teachings originate from the same source. In that sense, there is and always has been the one masters who manifests in many different forms. I am the master, and so are you. Once you are able to access the source within, and the way to it is through the inner body. Although all spiritual teachings originate from the same source, once they become verbalized and written down, they are obviously no more than collections of words. And words is not but a sign spots, as we talked about earlier. All such teachings as sign spots, pointing the way back to the source. I have already spoken of the truth that is hidden within your body, but I will summarize for you again the lost teachings of the masters. So here is another signpost. Please endeavor to feel your inner bodies as you read or listen. Sermon of the body. What is perceived as a dense physical structure called the body, which is subjected to disease, old age, and death is not ultimately real. It's not you. It is a misperception of your essential reality that it is beyond birth and death, and it is due to the limitations of your mind, which, having a lost touch with being creates by the body as evidence of the illusion's belief in separations of the justified its state of fear, but do not turn away from the body. For within the symbols of impermanence limitations, the death for the perceived as illusory creations of your minds and conceal it, the splendor of your essentials of an immortal reality. Do not turn your attentions elsewhere in your search for the truth, for it is nowhere else to be found but within your body. Do not fight against the body, for in doing so, you are fighting against your own reality. You are your body. The body that you cannot see and touch is only the thin, illusory veil. Underneath it lies the invisible inner body, the doorway into being, into life unmanifested. Through the inner body, you are inseparable, connected to the manifest. Into this unmanifest, one life, birthless, deathless, internal, eternally present. Through the inner body, you are forever one with God. Have deep roots within. The key is to be in a state of permanent connectedness with your inner body. To feel it all the times. This will rapidly deepen the transforms your life. The more consciousness you direct into your inner body, the higher the vibrational frequency becomes. Much like a light that grows brighter as you turn up the dimmer switch and so increase the flows of electricity. At this higher energies level, negativities cannot affect you anymore, and you tend to attract new circumstances that reflect this higher frequency. If you keep your attention in the body as much as possible, you will be anchored in the now. You won't lose yourself in the internal world, and you won't lose yourself in your mind. Thoughts, emotional fears, and desires may still be there to some extent, but they won't take you over. Please examine where your intentions is at this moment. You are listening to me, or you are reading these words in a book. That is the focus of your attentions. You are also pre-inferably aware of your surroundings, other people, and so on. Furthermore, there may be some mind activities around what you are hearing and reading. Some mentals commentary. Yet there is no need for any of this to absorb all your attention. See if you can be touched with your inner body at the same time. Keep some of your attentions within. Don't let it all flow out. Feel your whole body from within as a single field of energy. It is almost as if you're listening or reading with your whole body. Let this be practices in your days and weeks to come. Do not give all your attentions away to the mind and the external world. By all means, focus on what you are doing, but feel the inner body at the same times whenever possible. Stay rooted within the observes how this changes your state and consciousness and qualities of what you are doing. Whenever you are waiting, whenever it may be, use the times to feel the inner body. In this way, traffic jams and lineups for very enjoyable instead of mentally projects of yourself away from the now, go more deeply into the now by going more deeply into the body. The art of inner body's awarenesses will develop into the completely new way of living, a state of permanent connectedness with being, and with a depth to your life that you have never known before. It is easy to stay present as the observers of your mind when you are deeply rooted within your body. No matter what happens on the outside, nothing can shake you anymore unless you stay present and inhibited. Your body is always an essential aspect of it. You will continue to run by your mind, the script in your head and that you learned a long time ago. The conditionings of your mind will uh, dictate your thinking and your behaviors. You may be free of it for brief intervals, but rarely for long. This is especially true when something goes wrong, or there is some loss or upset. Your condition reactions when will then be invulnerably automatic and preoccupiedly fueled by one basic emotions that underlies the mind identifications state of consciousness, fear. So when such challenges comes as they always do, make it habit to go with at once and focuses as much as you can on the inner energies field of your body. This needs to take long, just a few seconds, but you need to do it the moment that challenge presents itself. Any delay will allow the conditional mental emotions, reactions, and arise and take you over. When you focus this within a field and feel the inner body, you will immediately become still and present as you are withdrawing consciousness from the mind. If a response is required in that situation, it will become up from this deeper level. Just as the sun is infinitely brighter than the candle's flame, there is infinitely more intelligence in being than in your mind.
Okay, as long as you are conscious contact without your inner body, you are more like the tree deep rooted in the earth, or a building with a deep solid foundation. That the latter analogy is used by Jesus in the generally understood parable of two men who build a house. One man builds it on the sand without a foundation, and when storms and floods come, the house is swept away. The other man digs deep until the reaches of the rock that builds into a house which is not swept by the floods. Before you enter, the body forgives. I felt uncomfortable when I tried to put my attention onto the inner body. There was a feeling of agitation and some nausea, so I haven't been able to experience what I've been talking about. What you felt lingering in emotion of which you were probably unaware of until you started putting into the attention into the body. Unless you first give it in some attention and the emotion to prevent you from gaining access to the inner body, which lies at the deeper level beneath it. Attention does not mean that you start thinking about it. It means just observe the emotion. To feel it guilty and so that it acknowledge accepts it as it is. Some emotions be easily identified. Anger, grief, and so on. And fear. And others may be hard to label it. They may have just fatigue feelings of uneasy heaviness and constriction, halfway between the emotions of physical sensation in case what matters are not either whether you can attach to a mental label to it, but whether you can bring the feeling into awareness as much as possible. Attention is the key to transformation, and Full attention also implies acceptance. When you transform yourself, you must accept yourself who you are and who you become. In a fully functional organism, an emotion has been very short lifespan puts. It is like momentary ripple that wave upon the surface of your being. When you're not able to be in your body, however, your emotion can survive inside it for days or weeks, or join with other emotions of similar frequencies that have been emerged and become the pain. A body parasite that could live within you for years, feed on your energy, lead to physical illness, and make your life miserable. So place your attention on the feeling of the emotion and check whether your mind is holding into grievance patterns such as blame, self-pity, or resentment is feeding into the emotion. If that is the case, blame, self-pity, resentment that feed an emotion, that is the case, that it means you haven't forgot it. Never, non-forgiveness is often toward another person or yourself, which is just as toward any situation or condition. Past, present, future that your mind refuses to accept. Yes, there's a non-forgiveness, or even with the regard of the future. This is the mind refusal to accept uncertainty or accept the future that is ultimately beyond its control. Learn forgiveness is to relinquish your grievance and let it go of the grief of what happened in the past. It happens naturally, so you once realize your grievance serves no purpose except for the strengthening of a false sense of self. Forgiveness is to offer no resistance to life, to allow life to live through you. The alternatives are pain, suffering, and greatly restricted flow-to-flow energy, and in many cases physical disease. The moment that you truly forgive, to reclaim your power and free from the mind, non-forgiveness is the very nature of the mind, just as the man-made false self, the ego, cannot survive without strife and conflict. The mind cannot forgive, only you can. You become present, then you enter the body, you feel vibrant through peace, stillness that emanate from being. That why Jesus said, before you enter the temple, forgive.
Your link with the unmanifested. What is the relationship between presence and the inner body? Presence is pure consciousness. Consciousness has that been reclaimed from the mind, from the world of form. The inner body is the link of the unmanifested, and the deepest aspect is unmanifested. The source of the source from which consciousness emanates as light emanates from the sun. Awareness of the inner body's consciousness, remembering its origins and returning to the source. Is the unmanifest the same as being? Yes, the words unmanifest attempted by the ways of negations that express that which cannot be spoken, thoughts, or imagined. It points to what it is by saying what it is not. Being, on the other hand, is positive term. Please don't attach this to either of these words or start believing in them. They are not more than signposts. You said that presence is consciousness that has been reclaimed from the mind. Who does reclaiming? You do. The sense of your essence, you are consciousness. We might as well as say that it is the awakening of consciousness from the dream of form. This does not mean that your own form will instantly vanish in the explosions of light. You can continue in your present forms, yet be aware of the formless and deathless deep within you. I must admit that this is way beyond my comprehension. And yet, on some deeper level, I seem to know what you are talking about. It's more like a feeling than anything else. Am I deceiving myself? No, you are not. Feeling will get you closer to the truth of who you are than thinking. I cannot tell you anything that deep within you don't already know. When you have reached a certain stage of connectedness, you recognize the truth when you hear it. If you haven't reached to the stage yet, the practice of the body awareness will bring about the deepening that is necessary, slowing down the aging process. In the meantime, awarenesses of the inner body has other benefits in the physical realm. One of them is a significant slowing down of the aging of the physical body, whereas the outer body normally appears to grow old and wither fairly quickly. The inner body does not change with time, except that you feel it more deeply and become it more fully. If you are 20 years old now, the energy feels of your inner body and feels just the same as you are in you are 80. It will be just vibrantly alive. So as soon as your habitual states changes from being out of the body and trapped in your mind into being in the body of the presence, and then now your physical body will feel lighter, clearer, more alive. As there is more consciousness in the body, molecular structures actually becomes less dense. More consciousness means a lessons of the illusions of materiality. When you become identified more with the timeless inner body than with the outer body, then presence becomes more your normal mode of consciousness, and past futures no longer dominated your attention. Do you do you not accumulate times? You do not accumulate times anymore in your physic, psyche, and in the cells of the body. The accumulations of time as a psychological burdens of the past, the future greatly superiors the body cells' capacities for renewal. So if you inhabit the inner body, the outer body will grow old at much slower rate, and even when it does, your timeless innocence will shine through the outer forms of, and you will not give the appearance of an old person. Is there any scientific evidence for this? Try it out and you will be the evidence. Strengthening the immune system. Another benefit of practice of the physical realm is great strengthening of the immune systems, which occurs when you inhabit the body. The more consciousness you bring into the body, the stronger the immune system becomes. It is very self-awakeness and rejoices. The body loves your attentions. It is also a potent form of self-healing. Most illnesses creep in when you are not present in your body. If the master is not present in the house, all kinds of shady characters will take up residence there. When you inhabit your body, it will be hard to unwanted guests to enter. It is not only your physical immune systems that become strengthening. Your psychic immune systems is greatly enhanced as well. The later protects you from the negative mental emotional forces fields of others, which are highly contagious. Inhibiting the bodies protects you not by putting up the shell, but by raising the frequencies, vibrations of your total energy still, so that anything that vibrates in low frequencies as such as fear, anger, depressions, and so on, now is this what is virtually a different order of reality. It doesn't enter your fields of consciousness anymore, or if it does, you don't need to offer any resistance to it because it passes right through you. Please don't just accept or reject what I'm saying. Put it to a test. There is a simple but powerful self-healing meditations that you can do whenever you feel the need of boost your immune system. It is particularly effective if you use them when you feel the first symptoms of the illnesses, but it also works with illnesses that are already entrenched into you. Use it at frequent intervals and with an intense focus. It will also counteract and disrupt any disruptions of your energy fields by some forms of negativity. However, it is not a substitute for the moments to moments practice of being in the body. Otherwise, it's in fact will only be temporary. Here it is. When you are occupied for a few minutes and especially relaxed things in that at night before falling asleep, the first thing in the morning before getting up, flood your body with consciousness. Close your eyes, lie flat on the bed, on your back. Choose different parts of your body to focus your attentions and briefly at first hands, feet, arms, legs, abdomen, chest, head, and so on. Feel the life energies inside those parts of the intensely as you can. Stay with each part of the for 50 seconds or so. Then let your intentions run through the body like a wave a few times, from feet to head and back again. This needs only to take a minute or so. After that, feel the inner body and after that, feel the inner body and its totally as a signal field of energy. Hold that feeling for a few minutes. Be intensely present during that time. Presence in every cells of your body. Don't be concerned if the mind occasionally succeed in drawing your intentions out of the body and you lose yourself in some thoughts. As soon as you notice that this has happened, just return your attention to the inner body. Let the breath take you into the body. At times, when my mind has been very active, it has acquired such moments that I find it impossible to take intentions away from it and feel the inner body. This happens particularly when I get into a worry or anxiety patterns. Do you have any suggestions? If at any times you are finding it hard to get in touch with the inner body, it is usually easier to focus on your breathing first. Conscious breathing, which is a powerful meditation in its own right, with gradually put you in touch with your body. Follow the breath with your intentions as it moves in and out of your body. Breathe into the body and feel your abdominal expanded and contracting slightly with each inhalation and exhalation. If you find it easy to visualize, close your eyes and see yourself surrounded by light and immersed in the luminous substance, a sea of consciousness. Then breathe into light. Feel that luminous substance filling up your body and making the luminous also. Then gradually focus more on the feelings. You are now in your body. Don't get attached to any visual images.
Creative use of mind. If you need to use your mind for a specific purpose, use it as conjunction with your inner body. Only if you're able to be conscious with only out thought, you can use your mind creatively. An easiest way to enter the state of through your body is through your body. Whether an answer, a solution, or creative idea is needed, stop thinking for a moment by focusing attention on your inner body feel. Become aware of the stillness when you resume thinking. It is still fresh and creative. In any thought activity, make a sense of habit to go back and forth every few minutes or even between kind of listening and inner stillness, we could still say, don't just think and use your head. Think with your whole body, not just your head. Not ego, but use your whole heart and self and your true feelings. The art of listening. When listening to another person, don't just listen to your mind. Listen to your whole body. Feel the energy field of your inner body, and you should listen. Trust your intuition. Take action, and that takes the tension away from thinking. That creates still space and enables you to truly listen without a mind interfering. You are giving the other person space to be. It is the most precious gift you could have. Most people don't know how to listen because the major part of their attention is to take away by thinking. They pay more attention to what the other person is saying, and none at all what the other person really matters to them. The being of the other person underneath the words of their mind. Of course you cannot feel someone else's being, except through your own. Of course, someone else's being except through your own. This is the beginning of realization of oneness, which is love. At the deepest level of being, you are one with all that is. Most human relationships consist mainly of minds interacting with each other, not only beings communicating, but being in communion. No relationship can thrive in that way, and that is why there is much conflict in relationships. When the mind is running your life, conflict, strife, and problems are inevitable. Being in touch with your inner body creates a space of no mind, within which is relationship can flower. Okay, everyone, that is the end of chapter 6 of The Power of Now and Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment. Next time we'll read chapter 7, which is the portals into the unmanifestation, unmanifested. Do you have anything else to say?
No.
Okay, everyone, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.